Greetings, divine radiance. How are you today? I am Nahkila Isha of Ashworth Scott Life Sculpting. I am a divine interpreter, interpreting messages and methods from the divine that empower you to create and live an abundant life. So I'm at the light, but I'm driving. But here's the thing. As I'm picking up my niece to spend a little bit of time with her before I move and to celebrate her birthday, it was placed on my heart by Spirit to invite you to think about the story, the little boy who cried wolf, from a much different perspective, right? So in this story, we hear about this little boy who kept saying, you know, there's a wolf, and every time they go check, there was no wolf. There's a wolf. Every time he'd go check, there was no wolf, right? There's a wolf, but every time they checked, there was no wolf. And then the wolf did appear, and when the wolf came, no one believed him, right? Well, why? Because he was labeled as a liar. And in this story, we're taught that the moral of the story is not to lie, because people will not trust you and they won't believe you. So when the time comes where it's necessary for you to be trusted or believed, people won't, right? This is what the story teaches. But let's look at this story from a different perspective, and let's think about the fact that almost everything we've been taught has been to disempower us, right? What if this little boy was psychic and he received a premonition and he was warning the people, right? But maybe he couldn't articulate that the wolf isn't actually here right now. I just feel that there's a wolf, right? I feel in my spirit there's a wolf, and I'm choosing to warn you, right? I'm feeling in my spirit that there's a wolf. Well, when we decided we didn't trust him, or we taught him, or we were taught, or our children are taught, that when you access your psychic gifts and you're speaking of these premonitions you've had, or you're speaking of moments in the future, that people won't trust you, right? Because I have come to realize, now that I've done my healing and I've accessed my psychic gifts and I'm strong and powerful in those gifts, what I've concluded is oftentimes I'm actually in the energy of the future. And a lot of times I didn't even realize that. So like I'm going to use relationships, for instance. I would be connected to what has been revealed to me in the future, and maybe that person isn't there yet. So the way I'm acting is based on that energy in the future, and they're still caught up in the now, right? How they're acting is still in the now. So vibrationally, it's just not matching, right? So have you ever thought about it that way? That maybe that story was not so much that don't be a liar, you can't be trusted, but it was actually teaching us not to trust our own intuition. It was teaching us not to share the messages we received, right? So I just like you to think about that. And I like you to really, the reason why I'm leaving you this strange tip and tool is because I'd like you to really start to look at everything you've been taught, everything you've been force-fed, and really decipher it and break it down and ask Spirit to ask you, what is the unconscious message that has been implanted within me to control me and keep me disempowered, right? That's what I'd like you to ask yourself. Just start to explore different things, little things. I mean, that's just a little story, right? It's just a little kid fairy tale that teaches you not to lie. Now, of course, it's not great to lie, right? Still teaching our kids that. But take it a step further. There's always something beneath the surface. We've been taught to only see what's on the surface, but all of the good, meaty stuff that either helps us to elevate or keeps us stagnant is underneath the surface. So I'd like to give a shout out to my son, Ultra Gamer Guy, and thank him for doing my recording. You know, I don't know if you can actually see my face or not, but I'm going to trust that you can, because he's a beast behind the camera. And I just would like to say thank you so much for tuning in, for allowing me to serve you. And I leave you with peace, love, bliss, and abundance. I'll talk to you soon.